A tiny world made of seashells and ocean treasures. A hermit crab hiding inside a giant spiral shell. Soft sea colors, pearls, and textures inspired by the ocean. Wallpaper and coloring line art are available on my Ko-fi. So for this piece, I really wanted it to feel like opening a box of treasures collected from the sea. The very first thing I painted was this giant spiral shell in the center because I knew that was going to become the home for the hermit crab. And honestly, I love shells that have all these dramatic folds and filled edges because they almost feel floral in a way, like they were sculpted slowly by waves over years and years. So at the beginning, I mostly focused on large shapes first, just blocking in creamy whites, warm beige tones, soft pinks, little bits of coral orange. I didn't want anything to feel flat. I wanted the shell surface to look smooth and polished, almost pearly. Then after the shell shape was there, I started painting the hermit crab inside it. I made the crab more saturated and warm compared to the shells around it because I wanted your eye to naturally find him first. So the shell itself is mostly soft, ivory and creamy colors, but the crab has these deeper reddish-orange tones. And I think that contrast makes him feel alive. I almost intentionally made him peek out just a little bit because I wanted him to feel cautious but curious at the same time, like he's slowly exploring this giant pile of ocean treasures around him. After that, I started building all the surrounding shells, and this part was honestly one of the most relaxing parts to paint because every single shell has a completely different silhouette. Some are rounded, some are long and narrow, some look almost like fans, some have sharp ridges, some are smooth like stones. So I kept layering clam shells, oyster shells, scallops, spiral shells, and little rounded shells together. At first, everything looks messy because it's just rough color placement and smudged brush strokes. But once all the shapes start stacking together, the composition suddenly begins to feel really rich and full. For the texture, I used a lot of smudging because I wanted the shells to feel smooth and slightly reflective. I didn't want dry textures here. I wanted that ocean polished feeling, like something that's been rolled around by waves for a really long time. So I kept blending different colors together instead of using only one flat one. There are cool grays, mint greens, sandy browns, lavender shadows, creamy whites, pale peach colors, and I think that color variation is what makes shells feel magical. Even very neutral shells actually contain so many hidden colors. And I started adding little pearls between the shells, and I feel like pearls immediately make everything feel softer and more elegant. I didn't want the pearls to completely dominate the composition though, so I used them more like tiny moments of light hidden between the shells. Almost like little surprises you notice after staring at the artwork longer. And because the composition already has so many different textures and directions, the pearls help create these small resting points for the eyes. At the end, I switched to a much thinner brush to add all the shell textures and patterns. This was probably the slowest part because every shell surface is different, Some shells have stripes, some have tiny grooves, some have layered ridges, some almost look wrinkled. And honestly, this part is why I enjoy painting shells so much. Even though they all belong to the ocean, every single one feels unique. It's kind of like nature designing its own little sculptures. By the end, I wanted the whole artwork to feel like a quiet collection of gifts from the sea, soft colors, polished textures, tiny pearls, layered shells, and this little hermit crab hiding inside his giant home. If you like this artwork as a wallpaper, or if you want to color the line-art version yourself, both are available on my Ko-fi. Thank you so much for painting with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.